And we're having all kinds of fun just talking about this and that. And you had a very important issue before we come to the top here, and what was that?
Well, I wanted to see if we stayed within the bounds of good radio taste. And off the air, I said, can we discuss urinal screens on the radio? And you said, but of course... because I know your fondness of urinal screens.
Yes, I'm
but then
capable of discussing.
During the commercial, then I was thinking to myself, my gosh, I had to ask permission to do that. Now, I've been watching Deadwood, and every third word in Deadwood is the magic word.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, there's a website that said they use that specific word 2,900 times. 1.5 times per minute.
Wow.
Is used. So anyway, so I'm worried about saying urinal on the air, and
it's quite all right. But what's the point that you're driving at?
I forget. No, I was visiting one at one point, and I looked down and realized in commerce we make decisions about how we want to spend our careers, and apparently. Some family at one point said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make urinal screens. And not only that, we're going to put our name on it. and I thought, in some ways defacing their name in the cruelest of possible ways. I'm thinking to myself, first of all, why would you put your name on it? First of all, it's because it's going to be defaced to begin with, number one. And number two, it's the name I saw, and I remember saying it was the name and the phone number. Now, first of all, I'm not in a position to write.
Unless it's snowing out.
And certainly I'm not going to come back 10 minutes later, and somebody's going to watch me walk up to a urinal, look inside, and write something down.
That is a very good point. I never thought of that.
Why would we do that?
The one that gets me is, and it's a beautiful name. It's a great name, American Standard. That's probably the most popular brand of urinal fixture, the American Standard.
Well, because of the word stand.
I prefer an automatic myself. Huh?
Because of the word stand.
Standard. Good.
Yes.
So you're talking about pardon me,
it's a little plastic thing. And the reason they were manufactured was years ago when people who smoked would throw their butts, which doesn't make any. Isn't that a play on ironic? But they would throw their cigarette entrails into the and it would be a mess to try to clean up. So they just had this thing they could lift out, which to me is just as disgusting.
Here's an observation about this, since we're going there. Might as well. Men of a certain age, and it's not necessarily any kind of socioeconomic strata. Men of a certain age find it necessary to, and we're going to be talking in the next hour about one's throat. Okay, they have this urge when they're at the urinal to basically rev up whatever's in there and just make the most awful sounds. Have you noticed this over the years?
No, I never have.
Well, maybe you're just not attuned to it.
No, there's certain sounds that I
don't know what it sort of.
No, but I understand. It's if I guess your philosophy is if you're going to clear out one passageway, clear them all out.
I guess so.
Which opens all manner of
yes, it does
discussion.
By the way, we just alienated half the audience who doesn't know what we're talking about. Maybe.
No, I believe in much the same way that everyone knows about Passover, everyone knows about urinals. I think there are very few people who you would stop to say, what's a urinal? And they would say, I don't know.
Fenway Park is 100 years old, right? And it wasn't until maybe 20 years ago, maybe, that they did away with the famous trough.
Yeah,
you remember those days?
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's just I draw the line at a sense of community, and that's where I draw the line. Yeah. I'm quite. In my, I don't know, I've been on the air with you maybe probably 70, 80 times. This is probably the most disgusting conversation.
And it's not even really disgusting. I mean, we're just pointing out a couple of facts. And you brought it up. I didn't, but I said fine. So there you go.
That's true.
You can come back and talk about other things like this in the future.
I'll talk about all kind of body parts.
So
liver bile, we'll talk
going
about next
forward,
time.
Before we